Hello everyone, it is Brandy here with Brandy's Cards. Oh, I'm so excited. I have a really cool tutorial for you today. So we're gonna do a technique where you can sew on your cards. That's right, you're gonna need a needle and you're gonna need some baker's twine. So if you like to, let's say, sew or embroidery or anything like that, you are going to love this technique. And I can't hardly wait to show you this. My gift to my customers last month, one of the gift choices was the 3-color baker's twine out of our spring catalog. And it is beautiful. I believe it was Flirty Flamingo, Balmy Blue, and the Lemon Lolly. Such pretty baker's twine. So I started to kind of play with it a little bit, and I started to kind of, figure out how I could make it work with some of our new dies and sew on our card. So I can't hardly wait to show you this really fun, beautiful border that I've created. And if you need a baby card, a congratulations for a new baby, or maybe a new mom out there with Mother's Day coming, you will love this card and you might have to make one too. And of course, if you don't have this stamp set, well, you probably have others that you can use as well. So I'm going to show you the stamp set that we're going to use today, and we're going to just dive right in. So this is the stamp set we're going to use. It's called Places in the Heart. It's actually in our Stampin' Up! Annual catalog. That's where you're going to find this one. So here, let me show you, let me go ahead and show you in our catalog. So this is our Stampin' Up! Catalog. This catalog is good for until April. And so let me just see, it was on page 70 something here. Let's see. There we go, 73. So this is where you can find this stamp set. I love this set. I've done a couple other cards with this set as well. And so we're going to focus on this image right here. So the other thing that we're going to use are our new dies. And so these dies are from the spring catalog. They're called the Everyday Dies, and they're so cool. Now, the cool thing about them is they not only cut your border, but they also have the little holes or the stitched edges. And so I don't even know if stitched is right, because they're quite a bit, they're wider, and there's more room in those holes. So we're gonna sew in those and do some fun stuff. So here, let me show you this die. I didn't have an extra. I had to order more of my magnet cards. So I'm just going to kind of show you the dies that are in here. So look at these fun dies. I have had a big time. And so once you cut these or die cut these, then you can sew through those holes. Yeah, I know you guys are excited to see what I'm talking about. So here, let me show you in our spring catalog really quick. This is with the Everyday Details set, which I love, and I believe that I shared a tutorial. Yeah, here it is right there, Everyday Details. With those of you that follow me, I actually did this card for you. It's absolutely beautiful, and the dies are featured right here. Now, of course, if you like these dies, you can purchase them individually, or you can purchase this set as a bundle. So just kind of keep that in mind. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to use this one right here. Yep, I have been using it a lot, and I am loving it. So we're going to bring in our cut and emboss, the big guy. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I set it up here real quick. So I've got some Balmy Blue cardstock, and I've already cut it to size. Now, all of the sizes and the dimensions are going to be on BrandysCards.com. So you're going to go to BrandysCards.com/blog, and that is where you're going to find the tutorial, the free PDF tutorial to download, as well as my blog post with some big pictures and, and the sizes and the dimensions. So don't worry about that right now. I just want to show you how to do this technique, and then, of course, you can run with that later. Okay, so here is my Balmy Blue piece, and there's my die. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to eye it, and my goal is to center that die. Now, I do have some, some washi tape, and I find that, it's nice to put some washi tape on there just so it doesn't move around and it doesn't get wonky on you. right? So I have my base plate here. I have my base plate, plate 1. I have my plate 2. I have one acrylic piece. And then I'm going to put my die and my cardstock. And then I have another acrylic plate. Then what I'm going to do is I am going to run this through. Yep. So I'm going to get it all straight. I'm going to run it through my cut and emboss. And then I'm actually, when I come out the other side, which is going to be any minute, there's always like this cracking at the end, then I'm going to bring it back through. I just find it helps get all those holes, kind of punches everything out quite nicely. All right, so now let me show you what that looks like. So here we go. So there is, you know, there's the die. We can pull our washi tape off. So that's the nice thing about washi tape. Okay, so I'm going to set that all aside. And then check this out. Look at that. Is that not cool? So those are called the everyday detail dies. So much fun. Yeah. Now let me show you. So, and if you have any problems with these, we do have a die brush that attaches to your take your pick tool. I don't have it out because I haven't had any troubles with these little holes coming out. But in the event that you do, you can use that die brush, or you can kind of just poke them out, which does take a little bit of time, but it's really not too bad. They actually fall out quite easily. Okay, so now what are you going to need? You're going to need some baker's twine. So this here is not baker's twine. This is actually, you know, this is actually for like cross stitch, you know, embroidery, cross stitch, that sort of thing, type of thread where you can pull these different threads out, right? So I'm not doing that today. I'm actually using baker's twine, Stampin' Up! Baker's twine. And remember I mentioned that 3-color baker's twine combo here. So this is what we're going to use. And I'm going to show you how I did this. So you're going to want approximately, so I started out using 24 inches of thread, but what I found is that I really kind of wanted a little bit of wiggle room. So I ended up adding another 6 inches. So I went with 30 inches of thread. You can do what's best for you. Okay. And then the other thing you're going to need is you're going to need a needle threader, and you're also going to need a needle. Now, these needles, I believe I ordered these off of Amazon, and I just got a collection of all different sizes. So you're going to just basically, you know, find the needle that's going to work for you, that's going to be heavy enough to handle this thread, right? But also that it's going to be able to go through these holes. My big needle in here does not go through those holes. So that's just something you'll have to figure out which needle works best for you. But once you find one, then you will be good to go. So here is the one that I've chosen that works really well. And here, let me show you how I did this. So I'm going to pull up my needle and put my needle threader through. You see that? So there's my needle threader. And then I have my balmy blue baker's twine. And I'm just going to carefully wiggle it through. And there it is. And now I've pulled it out the other side, just like sewing, right? Or cross stitch. So I've pulled it out the other side. Now, one thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not tying a knot here at the end. I'm not doing that on purpose because I don't want any bulk. But the other reason is because I want this piece out in front because I'm going to tie a pretty decorative bow. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So over here on my left-hand side, I'm going to come up about, 6, 7 holes. And I am going to leave a tail about that long. Do you see? So it's probably, how long is that tail? Let's see, maybe 4 inches, maybe is probably good enough. All right. So then what you're going to do is once you got your tail, then you're literally going to sew or, add a stitch, kind of like cross stitch, which I love. Cross stitch, and you're going to work your way around this frame. See how easy peasy that is? Oh, but it gets better. So this is going to be a single stitch. All right. And so I'm just going in, coming up from the bottom, and then I'm just going over one little section. Do you see that little section? So I'm just going over one section, going back down, and then coming back up. And it is super easy to do, and it will make your frame just look amazing. Amazing, amazing. Okay, so let's say we're going to work our way through here, and you go all the way around. Okay, so I'm going to set this one down, and I've already started another one because we're actually going to add a second stitch. So here's my second one, and I'm just going to go ahead and thread my needle one more time. And oh, I can't hardly wait to show you. Yes, I can't hardly wait to show you what we're going to do next. Okay, so I just threaded my needle. You can see it's super easy. I've worked my way. This one I just did a few stitches to show you. This one I've worked my way all the way around. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is just finish it off. And I'm just going to come back up. And I'm going to go back down. And I'm just working my way back around this corner to meet up the piece that has my tail. And again, the reason for the tail is because I want to do a bow. Yeah, I want to do a bow right there. So here we go. One more. Perfect. So there it is. And you see that now both of my pieces of thread, I didn't have to do the knot for it didn't pull through, because we're going to actually tie a bow right there. Okay, so here, are you guys ready for stitch number 2? So we're going to set this one aside because I will definitely be making that one later for sure. Okay, so here we go. We are going to measure, we've got basic white baker's twine as well. And so I am just going to measure that just like I did before. So I'm going to try to get myself about 30 inches of basic white. Okay, so now, you know, any one of those dies, you could do a single stitch all the way around and it looks fantastic, right? You can pick a color and do that single stitch. And I'm also going to show you kind of another design and how, you know, to add a second stitch. But on this one, I'm going to kind of make it look swirly, and it's actually really easy to do. So here, let me show you this. So let's go back in and thread our needle one more time. Let's see. Let's add our thread right there in our needle. Okay, my eyes are getting me there. And then I'm just going to gently pull that through, kind of wiggle it through. And I don't know what we would do without that little needle threader. That thing is fantastic. Okay, so here, check this out. So again, I'm still going to want, you know, I'm still going to want a tail. Okay, because I do want to end with a tail here. So what we're going to do is we are going to bring it so that it's pretty close to even, right, with the tail from my others. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead, and this one is really kind of the only stitch that I'm going to double back. And, you know, you're not going to see it, but it's going to get me started. And I just went back, but, you know, I went underneath, and I'm just going to go back down one hole is what I'm going to do. So that's just going to kind of set it. That's where my bow is going to be. So you're not even going to tell the difference anyway. Okay. So I've come back down. So here we go. This is what we're going to do is we are going to come up. And the idea here is when you're coming up, you want to stay on the right side of the blue. When you're going down, you want to be on the left side. You see? So I'm going to push my string over my baker's twine and go down on the left side. Then I'm going to smush it over to the left and come up on the right side. I'm going to push it down over to the right and go down on the left. And then I'm going to come up over here on the right. And it just takes a minute to kind of push that thread. For those of you that sew or do cross stitch and that sort of thing, you totally understand all of the amazing stitches that are out there. And I can see some of your wheels are spinning. You're thinking of like, oh my gosh, I can sew like across the entire rectangle, you know, from side to side, or I could do this stitch or that stitch. So many amazing things, right? So fun. So do you see how we're starting to create this swirl? When really all I'm doing is deliberately making sure that I'm coming up on the right and I'm going down on the left. Yeah, so there you go. So check that out. Is that not the coolest, like fun little swirl? Yeah, so cool. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring in another one that I've taken even further. And this one, you can see that I have done that stitch all the way around, so it's absolutely lovely. And of course, when I came up, then I just pulled my needle off over here and I'm left with my tails, okay? And here I'm just going to grab my two pieces of twine in the different colors and I'm gonna just tie myself a decorative bow, and that is gonna tie that off. And of course, then we can just trim it to the size that we would like. So that is easy peasy. Okay, so the next thing you're gonna need is your stamp set. And I have already stamped my girl for you, but I stamped her in Memento Black. The reason that I stamped her in Memento Black is because we're going to use our Stampin' Blends today. And I wanted to show you that, you know, you could do this for a boy or a girl, or you could even do it if the mom didn't know the sex of the baby. Keep it in yellows and greens, right? So, but right now we're going to focus on a baby boy. So I inked up my stamp in Memento Black, and I've stamped it on a piece of basic white cardstock. I have all of my Stampin' Blends here that we're going to use today. And of course, we do have some other natural tones. So if you want a different skin tone, feel free to grab one of our other natural color skin tones. Okay, so you can totally, make this a baby girl, baby boy, whatever you would like. So let's go ahead. I'm going to take the light Daffodil Delight, which is our yellow, and I'm just going to softly, there's not going to be a whole lot of shading. Of course, you could get some shading in there if you wanted to, but for me, this is really about the beautiful thread and how it really accents this card. But you could absolutely, if you wanted to, take your dark marker and just add a bit, of lights and darks in there, okay? So I'm just gonna go ahead, since I've done that, and I'm just gonna soften that just a wee bit, okay? Next, we're gonna go ahead and take our balmy blue, and we're gonna color our little boy nightgown here. And so, oh gosh, I remember those days. Gosh, they get big so fast, don't they? And so this one is going to be our darker marker. So on the little boy, I definitely liked the lights and the darks. So I went ahead and wanted to do that for that one. And then we'll just soften it just a little bit, okay? So not too much there. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give her some hair, color her hair. And I'm just going to go with crumb cake today. Of course, you can do whatever color you would like. That's the beauty of our stamping and crafting. So, so just use whatever color you would like for your mom. And then you can also, again, same sort of thing with the crumb cake. If you wanted to add in there some depth, and just try to get a little bit of depth and maybe some more color in there, you certainly could do that. And just add that. It's pretty simple. This stamp is really already sort of lends itself with all of those lines that it's fairly sketched. So it's quite nice that way. Okay, so mom is all done. Our frame is all done. And so check this out, mom and frame. Oh my goodness, isn't that absolutely beautiful? Oh my gosh, I am wondering if I'm hearing any sighs out there. So if you are liking it so far, I would love for you to give me a thumbs up. If you could like and subscribe. I've got some more fun projects coming for you, and I just want you to craft. I love making cards and I love sending them. My customers will tell you that, my family and friends. I just love sending them. And so I hope that you are liking this so far. If you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, please let me know. I would love to send you one of our catalogs. And okay, so this one has got coffee stains. You're not going to get this one. This one's been well loved and well used here in the craft room. But I absolutely love our catalogs. And so I have our spring catalog as well as our celebration catalog. So depending on when you're watching this video, this celebration catalog is for January and February of 2024. And then our spring catalog here, this guy, he goes till April of, let's see, April, does it say a date? April of 2024. So this one's good for just a couple more months. So if you don't already have a demonstrator, go to brandyscards.com/contact. Send me an email. Make sure you give me your mailing address and shipping address so that I can pop a set of catalogs in the mail to you. I would love the opportunity to help you and earn your business and get you on your way card making. It can bring you so much joy. You know, one thing I love about card making is it's just sort of, it's a break from a hard day sometimes. It kind of gets your brain going. It gets you focused on the creative process. But then, of course, when you send that card and somebody receives it on the other end, you feel that same joy all over again. I talk to many of you on the phone, and we talk about that all the time. So it's pretty fantastic. Okay, so are you ready to put our card together? I know I am. So here is our card base. Basic white card base, super easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You know, one thing you can do and so sorry, I've got my back to you over here. I actually kind of meant to pull these out and then I forgot. But if you have any of our strips, right? You know, like our, you know, these strips. I have some left over from Paper Pumpkin, and then I know that we sell some of them in our Stampin' Up! Catalog as well. You can use those, or you can go ahead and use your Stampin' Dimensionals. Either way, you're going to fold your card base, and then you're going to bring in your beautiful frame and flip it over. And then what I found, honestly, was easier is these strips, because I felt like it made it nice and sturdy. But you can do it however you would like. And so what I did is I just added my little strips all the way around my card. And I really did like it with 2 on there. Again, it just made it nice and sturdy, especially with that, that thread and so forth. So I'm just going to add, I think, 1 more. Whoop, that was 2. So let me put that one back. I don't want to waste them here. Come on, guy. Let's get back in there. And so this one's going to go right here. Perfect. And if you felt like you needed to fill in with some Stampin' Dimensionals, you certainly could. I don't know that it needs it, but now that I've pointed it out, I feel like I need it. So I'm just going to add it on there. Okay, there we go. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pull off your pieces. Okay, I know. And so now you're probably thinking, okay, well, what about your pretty image? I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that. So there's lots of different ways to do things, and so I want you to do what works best for you. But what I found is that if I go ahead and center this on here, the size of this can actually kind of fit in there and be wiggled into place. When I kind of was putting this down, you know, you could also go ahead and try to center her if you wanted to and glue that down and then come over it with your frame. So whatever way you choose to do it will be perfectly fine and will work. Okay. So what I did it in the past is I just went ahead. I felt like I wanted my frame as straight as possible. And then once my frame was set down and straight, well, then I would worry about putting her in there. And so let me show you what I mean. Because of the size of her, she just kind of tucks right in here. Do you see that? Just sort of tucks in here. And actually, I think I cut that one too big. So let me grab my cutting board, and I'm just going to snip off just a wee bit here off the bottom, because I think I just may have cut it just a smidge big. So let's see. Does that look better? Sure does. So let me set that aside, my cutting board. And then what I'm going to do is, like I said, this just can kind of tuck in here. Now, yes, you can absolutely glue her down first. Absolutely. And you can kind of eye it and figure that out. But I like to do it this way because I felt like I could just get her centered quite easily. And because I'm using liquid glue, it's quite, I got wiggle room and I've got a little time. So yeah, I'm just going straight onto my card base with the glue. And then I'm coming in at an angle, sticking her inside there. And I'm just sort of wiggling it into place. And that is one of those beautiful things about our liquid adhesive, right? So look at that. Is that just beautiful? Oh, okay. So one thing you can do is you could, before you put your dimensionals or your foam strips on here, you could actually stamp a sentiment down here. You could stamp your hello, you could stamp whatever you would like. However, what I decided to do is, we have those paper pumpkin dies, right? For the month of January, February, and March. If you subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, you can purchase these, the Love of Spring dies, and they're so pretty. I really like them a lot. And this love that's in there is just, it's a beautiful script. So, but you have to be a Paper Pumpkin subscriber to get it. But I think they're $12 and they're worth it. And they're going to coordinate with your January, February, and March Paper Pumpkin kit. So I think that's pretty cool. So if you haven't already subscribed to Paper Pumpkin or haven't selected a demonstrator, I would love it if you would select me. I always send my Paper Pumpkin subscribers a gift when they're a new subscriber. I'm so grateful. And of course, you'll get catalogs too. So let me show you these dies. The Love of Spring. And so there's your love. So I went ahead and I've already cut one out. So I die cut one out. Yep, I just basically, now you could use one of our adhesive sheets if you wanted to add adhesive, put that on your basic white paper, run it through, and then that would have sticky on the back. I did not do that today, but you certainly could, and it would definitely help keep that sticky for you. So I thought that this would be beautiful. Actually, I might just put it in there. I did this on my other card. So look at that. Is that beautiful or what? So you could make your bow smaller if you wanted, if that was too big for you. But I kind of really like that in there. Otherwise, you could put it here on the top. I don't know. Where do you guys like it? Okay, so maybe I do like it on the top for this one. So let's do that. So what I'm going to do is I don't want to put any adhesive up here on the top of my L, but there's a couple different ways you could do this. Actually, a lot of times I would do it just like I was showing you there. But another way you could do it is you could actually just add some adhesive on, maybe a silicone craft sheet or on a piece of paper, and then just sort of touch the die cut in there, in that glue, right? So the idea is you don't want it gloppy and you don't want it to like make a mess, right? And squish out the sides. So that was kind of the whole point of just kind of tapping it in there and then tapping it back off. So let's just go ahead and we'll stick our love right here. Perfect. And that will adhere nicely once that glue kind of sticks. Okay. So there is my little boy card, my mom card. So the other thing that I have here is I have the Subtles Designer Series paper. I love it because it has these fun little patterns in here. And I really like these hearts. Okay, so where did they go? I know I saw them. So it's got these hearts is one of the patterns. It's also got these polka dots in here too. So you can get this type of pack in the Subtles, the Brights, the Regals, and so forth. But because this is Balmy Blue, I decided to stick with Balmy Blue. And so here is my heart. Yep. And so up next, after I show you this envelope, I'm going to show you my little girl card too. And then I've got a couple other designs as well. So I'm just adding a bit of liquid adhesive to my envelope flap. I've cut my Designer Series paper to 6 2.5, 6 inches by 2.5. Then I'm going to line it up with the crease or the fold of my envelope. See? Okay. And then you're just going to take your paper snips and you're going to snip around it. That is how easy it is. Now you can also maybe stamp a sentiment if you wanted to on the front of this envelope. You could even die cut your love again and put it on there as well. So lots of fun things you could do. So there is my card. Now here, check out my original design. So this one was my first card that I did, and I took some of my leftover designer series paper and just added it here in the inside. And there are places in your heart you didn't even know existed until you have a child. So I just thought that was super fun. And you know, you could even die cut this out of maybe some glimmer paper or something like that too. So just really, really fun. Beautiful, beautiful card. Beautiful. Okay, so are you ready to see my little girl version? So we're gonna switch it over to pink and yellow. And on this one, I took 2 pieces of baker's twine. So let's pretend, I'm gonna grab one here. So on this one, you have 1 piece, and then you have 2 pieces. All right, so here's 2 pieces. So I actually threaded this next card with 2 pieces of baker's twine. So you kind of have to wiggle it, you know, when you thread it through your needle, you kind of got to get it a little wiggle, but it does go through, and it is lovely. So here, let me show you what that looks like. Actually, I'm going to put the cap on my glue first. Okay, here we go. So this one is my little girl version, and this is my double. So you can see it's quite a bit thicker, which I liked. It gave it a really fun look. And again, this was just, you know, double twine, but it is stitched, you know, a single stitch all the way around. And then on this one, I put the love. I decided that I didn't want to do a bow here just because I wanted to show you another option. And then on the inside, when a child is born, so is a mother. And this one, I just wrapped my little bow around. And you see the baker's, not baker's twine, this is the designer series paper. So I decided to complement my card with that same designer series paper on my envelope flap. So that's really fun too. So here, let's bring them both in. So we have little boy version and we have the girl version. So much fun, and it's so easy to do, right? I can't sew a button to save my life, but I have had so much fun making these cards. And so I hope that you give them a try. Now I do have 2 more examples for you, okay? So I have 2 more to show you, and then you'll have to go into your craft room and look for some baker's twine. Okay, so this one is Little Dreamers. This is the stamp set we're going to use. I'm definitely still staying with my baby theme. And I'm going to use this fun lion. I think he is precious. And so here, let me show you my lion. Just kind of moving that aside here. Let me show you my lion. Oh my goodness. So this piece here is actually, so let me just bring this frame over. I know this is one that we started earlier, but when I die cut this piece out, what fell out was this piece. Okay, so this is the center of that piece, and so this one falls out, and I thought, well, gosh, we're going to use that too. So that's what I did, is I die cut a basic white piece here, and I used the Flirty Flamingo, and I just threaded that around, and I started over here in the corner, knowing that when I made my way around, I would end right there, and then I could just tie it off. So just really, really fun. Now, I don't have any gems or sequences on here, but you could certainly, on any of these cards, really add some more interest by adding some gems and so forth. And then on the inside, I went with my little polka dots. And then I also thought that these hearts were kind of fun too. So I added the same designer series paper. This is our, you know, out of our collection. And then when you open it, I just kept it simple. Of course, you know, you could stamp something on the inside if you wanted to. All right, so my last card to show you today is also from these everyday detail dies. And I'm going to use the large circle this time. And so this next card uses the large circle and the elephant. Oh, how fun is that one? So this one, I literally just kind of went back and forth. So I started with one color and I came up from the back and I went over and then back and over and back and just kind of worked my way. And then I started with another color and did the exact same thing and worked my way back and forth. And I decided not to kind of go all the way around because I thought that that gave it kind of a fun look for him, right? So just really, really cute. Really, really, really cute and so much fun. Okay. I hope that you've enjoyed my cards today and this threading or cross stitch, that embroidery type look. It's so fun, so easy to do, and grab yourself some dies. Now you can also take a pierce mat, right? You can take a pierce mat, and you on your take your pick tool, you have this like pokey end, and you could certainly do a pattern and poke some holes, and then also do your threading or sewing on your card that way too. So just another idea if you didn't have the dies that we have that are that I can use to do that. So there's other ways to do it, but it is so much fun and I hope that you give it a go. Now, if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, please be sure to reach out to me. I'd love the opportunity to help you earn your business, get you on your crafting journey. So reach out to me at brandyscards.com/contact. Now, most important, be sure to send me your mailing address and shipping address. That's very important so that I can get those complimentary catalogs in the mail to you. And if you're one of my current customers, thank you. I'm so grateful for you and I love hearing from you. I so enjoy receiving your cards. I'm so grateful for those. Today is actually Valentine's Day when I'm filming those, and I did receive some of y'all's cards and I can't hardly wait to share them on Brandy's Cards. So thank you for blessing me in that way too. So without further ado, let me know if you have any questions. I hope that you enjoyed these projects and tutorials. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and like and subscribe. Thank you for your time today and for enjoying my cards. And don't forget to leave me a comment. I'd love to hear which card you like. Okay, everyone, take care. Bye now.